The camera pushes in, cue the music. Da 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 da. Remember Jurassic Park?
What? I don't know Jurassic Park.
If you don't know Jurassic Park, you don't know shit. What's my name?
Laura Dern?
Manny!
Everywhere Friday.
It was a little bit like, well, I didn't even see you as well, so I'm sorry if it was like...
It's fine. You were looking at a weird direction, so I was like, where's he looking?
Yeah. No, I was messing about as per.
Hello and welcome on this lovely, glorious, sunny, hot day. That is Thursday, and welcome to another episode of the Redhead Boy Podcast, hosted by me, Harry Allen. Thank you guys for joining me again, and I'm sure you're not listening to this right now. I'm sure you're enjoying the lovely sun that is out today, and I hope everyone is keeping well. So today I have a fabulous guest, another filmmaker on. His name is Frankie Fairbrass, and we've just had an awesome conversation talking about his creative work, his creative career, all about filmmaking. We chatted about some other stuff as well, including his surprising love of the Simon Pegg comedy Run, Fat Boy Run. Wasn't expecting that. So I'm gonna dive into the conversation and hope you guys enjoy it.
How you doing anyway? You're all right?
Yeah, not too bad. You? Thanks for coming on, by the way.
That's no problem.
You made me look
sounds fun.
You made me look proper like non-unprofessional with your like professional microphone, and then there's me like hosting a podcast, and I am planning.
And I'm like, look at my beauty.
No, I am planning to get a decent microphone. I promise.
Yeah, no, it's a good investment because because I do my own podcast as well, but it's more of a. It's been on hold for a little while because I got a couple of film projects and stuff like that. But like,
that's cool.
This one weren't too bad. I think it was I got it on Amazon for like 70.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
and it does basically everything. And it's
cool. All right, yeah, no, good shout for that. I didn't know you did a podcast. What's your podcast about?
It is it's called the League of Idiot Film Experts.
Sick.
And we just the idea is we just talk random crap about films and
nice.
Yeah, it's but it's normally me. I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be nasty to any more of my other co-hosts, but it's normally me that knows stuff, and then the rest of them are like, oh, really? I didn't know that Iron Man was in Iron Man.
Shade.
Yeah, shade thrown.
Cool. Well, if you need another person, give me a shout. That would be sick.
Definitely. When it kicks back up, I'll definitely give you a shout.
Yeah, give me a shout, man. Cool. That sounds awesome. Any excuse to like get nerdy on like film related stuff is like any excuse. Even if nobody listens, so it's fine.
Exactly. If nobody's listening to my innate ramblings about why this film is the best film ever and Angry Birds the movie or whatever, like they'll be like, what is this guy on about? Two people listen to it. Yeah. Both of them me.
Doesn't matter. Just as long as you get to rant off about like creative shit, it's fine.
Exactly.
Who cares if people don't understand Swiss Army Man? You know, who cares?
Who cares? It's the best. What is it? It's the best gay necrophilia musical love story ever made. And
we will talk about a little bit about that later, because when you sent me the quote that you wanted to, which I will put at the start of the show, I was like sick. Because when I went to see that film, like literally everybody else that I went to see it with was like, that was shit, and I was like, what? I was like, that was so like creative and like nuts and hilarious.
Yeah. No, it was great.
So
It was
yeah,
great.
so when you sent me the message about that, putting that at the start, I was like, this is a good start.
The
This is a good start.
quote itself as well, because I was between a few. When you ask me for a quote, it's always like the worst question you can ask. What is your favorite film? It's like, how long have you got? And it depends what time of day it is. Have I had lunch yet? Like, what way is the wind moving? It's like so many different things. So the quote, I had about 7 like different quotes. Cool. I had like Perks of Being Wallflower quotes and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and then, but I thought this one, Swiss Army Man, is always up there. Always up there. It's a beautiful film. And I know obviously you want to talk about this later, but like it just captured both my love for Swiss Army Man and the quote itself is just so real. It's just, if you don't know Jurassic Park, you don't know
so
shit.
good. It's so good.
Am I allowed to swear, by the way?
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is
cool.
what I love about this, because I've done a bit of hospital radio, and you get told not to swear on that. So I was like, when I started this, I was like, I don't give a shit if I swear. So, and whenever I release an episode on my YouTube and on the thing that I used to release it on, I always go, this is not suitable for children. So
yeah. So, I get you.
So it's fine. So,
that's
but
cool.
no, cheers for coming on, man. No, cheers. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Did you want to just do like I know people always find this super cringy, but did you want to do like a cheeky little introduction to yourself?
Cheeky little introduction to myself, yeah. I thought, no, these are always a bit. It's strange talking about yourself and self-promoting yourself, but I guess, so I'm a filmmaker, creative person, do a bit of this, bit of that. But I mean, like with a podcast, or I do some music and I do drawings. I drew a lovely pig the other week. But primarily, I'm a filmmaker, writer, director. I studied at Brighton Film School, which is now the Screen and
Screen and Film School. Studied down there for a couple of years, met some great people, made some great projects, really fell in love with it, because before that I'd done nothing apart from the obligatory filming with a camcorder of you and your mates just pissing about. I'd never done anything properly. And now I work in film, working on like corporate promos, which is money, but mainly writing, directing my own shorts, just loving life. And I do a lot of work with so I self-describe myself as quite a happy person, I guess. That's good. That's good.
But all of my films are miserable as shit. Someone either gets like arrested for something they didn't do, or gets like killed and like is really upset about it, or like something's just like not going for them. But like, as I say, the film you do because you love it, not because of anything else. And I just want to do that. Yeah, cool. I don't know how that was.
No, it's cool, man.
Anything else?
Cool.
I'm from London. If you haven't guessed my bloody apples and pears accent.
No, to lean on to the thing about like always you're like, I would say I'm quite a happy person as well. And then every time I go to write something, or like the thing that I'm writing at the moment, I was like, I'm going to try and write a comedy here. Or I was like, this is going to be try and be funny. And then I cut like a sizzle reel for it just for like shits and giggles. Yeah. And I was like, watched it back and I was like, this looks like a drama to me. And whenever I try and do something a little bit light-hearted, or I go to myself going, the thing before was quite, deep and meaningful and whatever, and then you always go, well, let's try and write something funny, and then it just never turns out as funny.
Never, no, yeah. I think the first film I properly directed was a comedy, and that it was funny, but it was more like I don't know, it didn't feel comfortable doing that as much as like the funny moments in the way I've really found the way I work now is the funny moments in my films are just because they happen. They're not like a big old comedy kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Comedy is so hard to do as well.
Yeah.
So
Crazy
hard
hard.
to do.
Crazy
So hard to do.
hard. Especially
But I
when
feel I don't. Yeah.
I would
Go on.
hate to get like feedback on a comedy script and then someone be like, "This is shit."
Yeah. Well, the main intention of comedy scripts is to be funny. Like with drama or something like that, you could just tell a story and it could just be like make sense, and that be your baseline at least. And like you go on a journey and whatever. But like some people might go, "Oh yeah, I really felt that," or people go, "Oh, it was really good, but I didn't connect with the story as much." You know, but if you're watching a comedy and you just don't laugh, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, like with drama and stuff like that, there's no like that added pressure of like,
you got the extra layer. The extra layer. That's what it is.
Cool.
But I suppose what you're saying as well, with being a happy person yourself and making like really like this is a really drama, really kind of thingy. It's a release, I guess. Like you can talk about stuff.
Yeah,
that's how I do it anyway. I talk about stuff that I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable talking about as like straight up. Like I express these kind of feelings or these kind of opinions in this project. That's how I kind of do it.
So it's like our therapy sessions.
Yeah, exactly. Film therapy.
Yeah.
I would say it would save me a lot of money, but the amount of money I've spent on making film. I probably should have just done therapy instead.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke going, it's free therapy. No, but most of the time when trying to produce something yourself, you're putting your own money in. So.
And also, when you're working in film, like at least when you're first starting out, you're not earning, you're just spending. That's all you're. Like you're like, oh, I guess I could buy this camera or something, you know, like, or like I'll buy this, like I'll pay for this location. And we're like, oh, are you getting in? Like, are you getting any funding for this? What's funding?
Yeah, so it's like going back to what we said earlier about like it doesn't matter how many people listen. It's like when you put something new out, like a film, you're like, especially when you financed it yourself, you're like, please let at least like a couple of people.
Please at least watch the first 10 seconds. That's all I'm asking. I know it's a 3-hour short film, but like, watch the first 10
Cool. No, I always like it when I get like the like filmmakers on and any creatives to sort of like go back to like did you have like a light bulb moment that you knew that you wanted to work in this?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this. I mean, so back with my quote, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite films because I think so that moment in retrospect, basically when I was younger watching Jurassic Park, I wanted to be a paleontologist because I was like, I fucking love dinosaurs. I want to be, you know, like as most kids like my age and what, you know, like growing up with that kind of era of stuff, I guarantee you a bunch of like 25 to 30-year-olds or even older or younger, but like wanted to be paleontologists. I know a bunch of my mates wanted to. I didn't even know what the word meant, but I was like, yeah, I want to do it. But looking back on it, I think that was the moment, even if I didn't realize it, where I wanted to become a filmmaker, because the reason I put it to is, if this makes sense, it might be just innate ramblings of like a madman. It's like, I want to be able to do something like that for someone to watch it and come away with something, you know, whether that be a new idea or a new outlook on something or just a different way of looking at things or something that resonates with them, makes them feel better or makes them, you know, all these different things, or like makes them want to become a paleontologist. That's basically where I realized, looking back on it, that's probably the light bulb moment, even if I didn't realize it. Another moment, like, these are weird films to kind of jump at, but Run Fat Boy Run.
Oh yeah.
I love that film, but it's not like a big like, oh, what's the like cinema greatest Run Fat Boy Run. But no, I remember watching that after going through like a breakup, and it really like connecting with me. And this was when I was like, must have been like 16 or 17, or something like that. And I was like, oh, like 16, 17, I'd experienced life and all this. Fuck, I have. But anyway, I watched Run Fat Boy Run, a really stupid comedy, or it's quite funny, you know, quite clever, but like it made me feel things. And it was then I was like, shit, this actually does stuff, you know, like, because up until then I took media studies as a DOS because I thought, oh yeah, go in, watch films, piece of piss, you know, like, you know, as I'm sure a bunch of people did. Like, don't lie to yourself. Some people went in like media studies. Yes, let's watch The Simpsons or something and pretend we know it's like art. But like, yeah. So I guess that's when, because up until that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do from that point. I was like, I was decent at maths at school. I was
good for you.
I played a bit of football. I know, it's surprising. I know, but like I'd done like I played football and played instruments, stuff like this. I did enjoy a bit of this, bit of that, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, you know. And it wasn't until Run Fat Boy Run as well, I guess, which is a weird thing to say. Wasn't until Run Fat Boy Run I knew who I was.
Like I love it if you like if you were ever in a future interview and be like, what films inspired you, you'd be like,
just my Oscar speech. My Oscar speech is like, thank you, Run Fat Boy Run. Like, like, it's not a bad film in any respect. It's not like, at least I didn't go, like, oh, like, thank you, movie 43 or whatever it is, like.
Jesus,
At least it's not like, it's a functioning film. It's got an emotional through line and it's quite funny. Yeah. But like, it's not like
good in it.
Simon Pegg's good in it. Yeah. Oh dear, it's great. It's great.
That'd probably be the person that was only in like the audience at the Oscars would be like, yeah.
Simon Pegg's like, yeah.
No.
Oh dear. But yeah, I suppose I guess that would be my answer. Like,
cool.
That's where it kind of started with me, and then going into film school and stuff like that, and then just kind of progressed through there.
Yeah. No, actually, we've done like a good segue to that, actually. So, did you want to? Because I talked to a friend from my year group from film school and sort of talked about the whole like film school experience. How would you like sum up your experience there?
It was a great experience. It was a great experience. I met a lot of people there, a lot of people on my course, a lot of friends, a lot of collaborators. Whilst at film school, we worked on a bunch of projects together. I learned a lot because, as I say, on the first day of film school, I rocked up and I'm like, oh, why, like a little Cockney lad from I just took a year off, mainly because I didn't know what to do. I didn't do a gap year as per se, but I just took a year off because I had no idea. So I was like, I can't pick now. So in that year, I'd spent like just working down the fish market, and like doing weird like odd jobs and stuff like that, but nothing like pushing thing. But so I rocked up at film school, and like there was a bunch of people in the class. Some of them were like had worked as ex-actors or had worked in some capacity with that kind of theatre world or something like that, so they knew that part of it. Some of them were like, I've done photography at uni and like there's this, but I wanted to try film, and so they knew ins and outs of cameras and like you know, like they everyone seemed to in part have a link to why they wanted to do it. And I rocked up and said, like I'd rocked up with Run Fat Boy Run in my mind, and like, you know, and So I was like none the wiser. I did not know what department I wanted to be in. I didn't even know there were departments at that point. I was so like blind, so blind.
Yeah.
So going in, I learned a hell of a lot. It taught me everything. Like the head of it, Gary Barber, when he was there, and that he really helped. Some of my teachers and tutors like Julian, and all that kind of stuff. They really just really pushed me and really like helped me, spoke to me. Like they knew I knew fuck all to do with it. They knew it, but they still gave me their time and all that kind of stuff. I know that's what a film school's meant to do.
Yeah.
It's a school, but they don't just rock up and you don't know nothing. Get out. But yeah, no, I met some great creatives in there and all that kind of stuff. And it was really, really life-changing experience. I know that's a bit funny, but like it was,
Yeah,
it was just like at the end of the day, I wouldn't be who I am, not working the way I do, doing the stuff I do. If I hadn't gone to Brighton, hadn't gone to study and all that kind of stuff, and learn about films, and in a way that's not just, oh, this is a good film. I could actually look at it, and the way the course works as well. So I've spoken to a lot of people that have studied like film or TV or whatever it might be to do with the industry at different courses, and their courses are so different. So I'm so lucky to have gone to that one. I feel, because I feel like if I'd gone to one of the, because they do like a year or two of like theory and stuff like this and make one film at the end. I don't think I would have been able to do that.
No.
Honestly,
That was the main reason why I picked Brighton originally, because I like came from BTEC, and my dyslexic brain was like, I do not want to do a shit ton of theory.
No.
So
like, obviously there was theory, but it was just like this is parallel to, okay, now we're just going to shoot something. Like, here's an advert. Let's practice doing this, or let's mess about with these cameras.
Yeah.
And it's just the practical side of that was just so much more than what you could write in an essay. For me personally, I know other people work differently, but for me personally, that was just, I'm so lucky to have picked that course and go through that experience. I made some great, tooting my own horn, but I really made some cool films that I'm really proud of from film school. And and that's what I mean. Like, there's a handful of films we made there. Whereas, like, with other courses, they make one film in the last year, and I took, because I've helped out on a bunch of them. Because I act part time as well.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, it's a very well-known fact. I try and keep it on the down low because I'm not very good. Not very good. I'm like, in a pinch, if you need anyone to rock up and do something, I can do it.
Cool.
But,
you're gonna regret that, mate. I'm gonna like end up like contacting you one time.
Oh no. You're saying you're gonna regret that if you contact me to get on your film, be it. No, I mean, the reason I started, and that's kind of what happened at film school as well. That's where that came from, because when we were doing the course and all that kind of stuff, and we do a little exercise, let's come up with a little 2-minute short in the space of like a day and something, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't be able to get actors in or anything like that on that particular thing, so we'd act in them. And I kind of enjoyed it, and I recommend to any kind of aspiring, especially directors, any crew, if they get a chance, I think it'll be an interesting experience for like a DOP to act. Like, they might not be good, but like it'll be interesting because you'll know what that person's, how their their work process is like. Like, because of a camera being pointed in your face, you become more sensitive to that kind of stuff. But especially for directors, if you want to work with actors, you might not be the greatest actor in the world, but 100% you need to just get in front of the camera a little bit just to know what it's like, No,
I have heard that like from so many like other directors and stuff saying it's valuable just to get that feeling of the whole like out there and completely like out there and stuff.
Don't expect yourself to do a big old Oscar winning performance or anything like that, because the amount of films I watch back and I go, oh, I'm terrible in that. And like, it's not even objectively like you know how people look at their own stuff and go, oh, that's just terrible. You know, it's self-deprecating stuff. But I am objectively terrible. But I'm not really. This should be an advertising, like, hire me, like, you know. But like,
please hire me.
please, but please hire me. I am shit. It's not the best, is it? But like, it's definitely like, I'll do it from time to time, maybe in my life, maybe in friend stuff, smaller parts, you know. Recently, I've done a couple of films where I've been typecast as a boyfriend who murders their girlfriend.
Oh, damn.
I don't know what that says about me, but, you know. I was also a French werewolf.
A French werewolf?
French werewolf.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Like, so many like images are going in my head right now. What that would be.
Yeah. That was I suppose, that was a interesting thing, because that was with the National Youth Film Academy as well.
Yeah. Cool.
So I could speak about that later as well. When we
get, No, we get to that
kind of stuff.
Yeah, we get to that next.
But yeah, I mean, the acting side of it's an interesting thing to do. I definitely recommend it. You're probably not going to enjoy it, because a lot of the reason why people work behind the camera is because they want to be behind the camera. So that is a big thing for me. But no, that started in film school. But there's people who I'm still friends to this. I mean, it's like I went to film school like 50 years ago. The way I'm saying it, like, I'm still friends today with them, like, to this day. And it's nice seeing as well some of the people on my course as well. Like, they're going out and doing stuff. It's all really nice to see that kind of stuff. But, for me, film school, great experience.
Cool. Because I did that blunt question where I asked my friend that I got on like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, do you think the experience is worth it? And he was like, yes, it is worth it, because the whole like film school and like going to film school and not going to film school is like a constant debate with like. Oh,
there's a massive divide.
Like, community and stuff.
I think it's just whatever works for you, because personally, for me, like, I know so many people going into the industry without going to film school, and that's great for them, and they get their way and all this kind of stuff, and they get their way in and they got their kind of fit. But me personally, I did not know fuck all. So if I went in there, I would have so embarrassed myself. I would not know what a camera was. Oh, can you pass me a lens? What's a lens? You know, like, I was to that level of, you know, and that kind of stuff. I would have hated. I mean, I did some like work experience at like Working Title when I was like
sick. I did. Because I did like research of you and everything, and like looked up as much as I could. And I did. Oh, really? And I did.
Oh no! What did you find? Oh no!
It's all right.
Oh dear.
Yeah, nothing freaky. Don't worry. Nothing.
We didn't research enough then.
No, but I did notice that. No. So when was that? When you were when? So that was in secondary school.
I was in secondary school. And that was it was just in their kind of offices up in London. So it wasn't on any sets or anything like that. It was just in the kind of like in the mail room, basically, running about London, being a courier. But it was interesting to see a bit of that, and you know, but so that to me, it was like, because I kind of knew, oh, this could be an interesting thing, but apart from that, it didn't really give me much like experience like film school did. You know, definitely recommend work experience, but like I just didn't know where. At that point, I was still kind of like shooting a gun into the dark. I didn't really know.
I think film school is like a good first layer to have, because then when you get onto like professional sets, you know, like the lingo and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like we were talking about different courses and how they do different courses and like different unis and that stuff. I think the argument against film school is that there are a lot more of these courses where you have to write essays for like 2.5 years and then you make one film.
Yeah.
So in that experience, I don't think that is the, and again, this is only personally, if it works for whoever, then that's great. But that wouldn't have worked for me, and I feel like that wouldn't have got me ready for the industry. You know, the course at Brighton Film School, was so much different from what I've heard from a lot of people. And I think that course, especially because I think Gary, who ran the school at that time, was just so on, like, this is what we want to do. We don't want to teach about, like, or at least I'm paraphrasing from what I got from him personally, like what I felt he was aiming for. But like, he was trying to get people ready for the industry, not trying to teach them like, oh, you need to get a degree. It weren't about a degree or anything like that. It was about getting them ready for. And I think that's why I think personally my and Brighton Film School as an experience was so much richer as a result.
And
as the other film schools.
A big shout out to Gary. I hope he's doing all right and hope he's well and everything. So
love to Gary.
Because he's such a nice bloke and so supportive to like everybody and stuff like that. Such a nice guy. When you went for your like interview for it, did you have Gary as your interviewer?
I had Gary. No, that's an interesting little story because I mean,
go on.
We didn't. Well, basically, through 6 degrees of separation, I knew Gary beforehand.
Okay. All right.
And but we didn't realize that at the time. It was only really like halfway through my first year we realized, because like he's from London, like kind of, I believe the same kind of area as me, or kind of thereabouts. So on my interview, I rocked up. I was like proper going in all for it. I rocked up in a suit, mate. Like, I don't know how many people rocked up in a suit, and I don't know if that was a good fucking move or not. But I was like, mate, I'm going in. I don't give it, like, you know. I showed him some of the videos of me and my mates jumping into bins and thinking that was like art. But but apart from that, I think one thing I pride myself on is that I can kind of make a little bit of an impression. So I'm a little hobbit who talks like a Cockney. And, you know, like that kind of sticks in your mind a little bit. Oh, what's that short little Cockney that didn't shut up? You know, they'll remember that, you know, they'll remember that a bit more. Whether they like it or not, you know, but like they'll remember it for sure. And so I kind of started playing that card and was talking about me great nan's prefab during the war and all this kind of stuff because I think, I know, trust, like... I know it went really strange, but it was great because we walked up, like we were talking all that kind of stuff, talking about. He was asking me where I'm from, my accent, and we were talking about all kind of stuff like that. Walked onto the set, and the set obviously being like 3 walls kind of thing. I was like, oh, that's like my nan, like because I think literally the week before I went and visited my great nan, and like it popped into my head. Oh yeah, during the war she lived in a prefab. Do you know what a prefab is? Right? Yeah. There's a couple of people, but anyway, I was speaking to him, and I was saying, that's like a prefab, really, and he was like, oh yeah, like, and just talking about random bullshit. Like I don't think we even talked about film once, like apart from like, nice. And he was like, yeah, all right, I get you, I feel you basically, and he was like, all right, and then straight up, like kind of going into the calls and all that kind of stuff. And we were talking more about it. We'd always have a little chat every time we'd see each other. And we worked out, so like when I used to work down the fish market, he used to work at a fish stall in Stratford, I believe. Sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but like, in Stratford, because he also knows David Sinto, who is the writer of Sexy Beast.
Oh, okay, fair, sick.
Yeah, because they both used to work at that store. Now, my granddad, so I think that's how they kind of knew each other, you know, and that's where they started off. And my granddad used to deliver, because my granddad used to run like transport out of some transport kind of like delivery vans, basically out of at Billingsgate. And one of the people he used to deliver to was this store. So I don't think, because I used to go work with my granddad and all this kind of stuff when I was younger, and then obviously worked down there for a little bit when I was, But I don't know if I went and maybe met Gary when we were delivering when I was younger, but I don't know if he was working there at that point, because he's probably still young when he worked there and stopped it when he could, as most people did. But like, there's a very strong chance that my granddad used to deliver every week to Gary Barber and David Sinto.
Yeah.
There's a very strong chance.
Sick.
And so like we worked that out and we're like, what? That is like crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, so yeah. No,
that's always funny when you end up meeting new people and you find like strange, the most oddest links to each other, and you're like, how the hell did that like transpire? No,
definitely.
No, I remember, because Gary did my interview as well. I remember going.
Yeah.
And
how did that go?
when I get nervous, I stutter really badly. So I remember showing up and like buzzing on the intercom, and they saying like who it is, and then I stuttered my name and like went in, and I showed him like my portfolio and stuff because I'd worked with my college prior at their production company, and the first thing that he said to me was like, "Whoa, you keep yourself busy, don't you?" And I was like, "Do I?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." So, but yeah, no, it was. Yeah. I was like, fair enough. I was like, obviously, you think it's impressive, so I shall carry on.
Yeah. Run with it. You know,
like and that like tiny little intimate space that like Ditchling was and everything, I was like, oh, this is like a cool little space. I'm glad that I started the year that I did, because then they had the new building that like came open and everything, and they were able to expand and stuff, because Ditchling is quite small.
Ditchling's quite small. Yeah. We had a weird one because we started at Ditchling. Yeah. And like when I first rocked up, it was like Hogwarts because it's just that big old thing. But you don't realise it's just one room. But it was great. It was great for that personal kind of touch. Yeah. My second year was when they were like in plans to move. Yeah. So they were kind of still sorting out the kinks. So our class in particular, our second year was like jumping around the place where we rented out like Brighton Youth Centre and like different places, because they didn't actually have the room at that point. Because they were still doing up the place at, above El Campo. So we were the first like degree course. If that, I believe, so when we went there, it was like, wow, this is all bells and whistles. And then there's obviously so much pro to having all that kind of stuff and expanding. But like you say, the Ditchling side of it, it felt like there was a lot more kind of like, it's great to expand. Yeah. But I'm so like happy that we had that time where we were like smaller, because you had so much more one-on-one time. Yeah, exactly. I think that there's pros for both, isn't it?
Yeah. Because that was one of the main things for me. I was like, if I went to a normal university, I'd find the whole like massive auditorium like really daunting.
Yeah.
So I was when I went there, and luckily I got in really, because that was the only option that I put down.
Yeah. So I think I can't remember back. I think I had that and like some weird college in like Essex or something. Oh, I don't even remember what that was. So I'm like, God. Yeah. Like I'm not shitting on that, but like I can't even remember what it was, and I was just like, I don't even know if it was film. If I'm being honest, I think I put it down as a mistake or something. But like, I was just like, this is the one I want. This is the one I want. But
no. I like 100% agree. Like the intimacy, like of because you were just, I think you were a year above me. A year above me? I think you were a year above me. Or
I think who was in your class again? Who was anyone I might know?
I had like Paolo and all that. I had James Cooley and all that lot and stuff like that.
Okay, so I was with like Rowan, Holford, and yeah. Okay.
So because we sort of, this is obviously the most we've ever talked to each other, because the first time I met you was when film school was doing the like script evenings, where they were like, where we got a load of actors in the room and we brought our own scripts along, and then we got a chance to work them out on the new set on London Road. And
Yeah,
I
no,
remember you working with Keris and another
Yeah.
actress.
She's a great actress.
Yeah. She is actually.
Little advertisement. Anyone in Brighton listening and need a really good actress. Keris Knighton.
Because you, because you really helped me on the casting for my degree film, even though you weren't there.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, really?
Because I saw that she was working your script, and I saw it and saw her improvising a scene that you wrote, and with another actress, and I was like, damn, she's like really good.
Yeah, she's on point. On point.
And then when I was casting my degree film, I was like, I need to get her in to just like talk
if
through
you ever get an opportunity, and she's obviously if she's interested, jump at the chance. Jump at the chance.
Yeah. And she's a super nice person and everything, like really nice to get
she's totally horrible. I'm joking. I'm just hoping she listens, like, so, and then like gets to that point and she's like, what? Like,
it's all right. I have been thinking about inviting her on to talk about acting on the podcast.
Yeah.
So she might end up listening to this.
She might.
Just to see what she's in.
Just to see what shit I've talked. Yeah.
But
no, she's lovely.
So so you helped me like with my casting for that. I was like, I need to get her in. Definitely. So thanks for that. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for that.
I take full credit.
But that was when I first met you, and we did it with Alkin, like in the evening.
Yeah, Alkin. Yeah.
I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that not enough people showed up to those groups because they were really useful.
Yeah, it was only a small little gathering, but it was such a
for like a short period of time.
Yeah. But I guess it goes back to the kind of thing you're saying about the kind of interpersonal, the intimacy of it. Although you wish maybe there was more people because then you get more stuff and carry it on going. Even the small moments you have in that like there.
Yeah.
Like you saw that work, you saw Keris, like be able to make that connection, and there was a intimacy still to it. And that's what I really liked about it. But I guess going back on that as well, I suppose this is going back to introing myself. There's this thing about improvisation, because obviously you said on the script read it was there was like she improvised like a section of the scripts and stuff like that. That's a way I kind of got because when I was first starting out, I was reading books on like filmmakers and stuff like this, and I read Martin Scorsese's book, and he whole thing about being prepared, so like writing your script, storyboarding, planning, blah blah blah, planning till the fucking pigs fly, like. But like then when you come to set, throw it all out the window, because at the end of the day, this is how I work a lot. It's like the script I've written means nothing if it sounds shit, Like let the actors kind of like speak it in their own words and as long as you've got the intention of the character and the intention of the scene, and you just don't unless there's like a specific like quality, like the scene after this person's got a red coat on, so we need them to say the coat was red, and not like improvise, they had a blue coat on, and then fucks up the film. But no, and that's what I love about working with actors, because you can find more meaning within that. That's the way I work anyway. I love improvisation.
Yeah. No,
freer.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, because one of our lecturers at Brighton Film School, Alkin, was very much like when he said like when he writes a script, he's very much like those are the words that need to be spoken.
Yeah. And there's pros to that.
Yeah,
there are pros to that.
Yeah, but I'm like definitely in your camp. It's like I want, which I've been sort of doing that at the moment. I've been writing a new short, and after taking like a year off, I needed like a year and a bit off after the degree, because it was like the degree year was so fucking stressful. But and a lot of life lessons, but that's cool. We won't go into that. So
I've been writing it, but I like the idea of I'm gonna finish this first draft, which is soon, and then I'm gonna send it out to the actors and sort of say to them like, "What do you think of this?" And then get them to add bits in. Like I've even got one of the actors that hopefully I'm having in that she's writing her own scenes, and then we're going to tweak it together and make it like...
It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting way of working. And like you were saying with Alkin, it's very much like, you know, these are the words. There's obviously so many pros to that as well, because then you can, every word will make a difference. It ultimately depends on you as a creative.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way, is the way, I think. But like you say, it works for you. It definitely works for me. And like you're saying, with having a collaboration between your actors writing their scenes, I think that's a great little idea. I remember my screen teacher on the course in my second year, Carol Harrison. Big up, Carol. She said something that sticks with me to this day still. She said it's like a conspiracy of talent, you know? It's like it's the whole thing, the whole... You aren't the only one, like, as the writer or director, you aren't the only one who's kind of making the film. Everyone's contributing their part. So it's interesting because, like you say, if you're getting the actor to write their own scenes or work their own scenes in a way, and then you can revisit them, they might get it completely wrong to the way you want to be, but they might also open you up to new possibilities that you would never have thought of.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. It's a really interesting way to work, and I think it's Yeah,
I like I remember doing my degree film and like having those days where we did like rehearsal and work for the script, and it's like that is like one of my most favorite parts. Is just like just going through it and sort of like playing about with it and tweaking it as you go and stuff like that. I just think it just it needs to be not for every director, but I try and I try and make it like a fun collaborative process.
Exactly. That's the way that's the way I work as well. And like I say, like you said, it's just the way it works for each individual. Whatever gets the best out of you. Basically.
And then when you hopefully when you have these moments, so you find little gems where you go, oh, that's really good. We need to keep that. And you get really excited over the tiniest little thing, like, oh, that's really good. Or
you just find it out of nowhere. It's quite fun. It's discovering stuff happening on the spot is the bit that gets me going.
I just find it funny that people that are like, you know, like my twin brother is completely like not interested in anything that I'm interested in. So I feel like
same here.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't have a twin brother, but you know.
I feel like if my twin came to the set and saw me getting excited about someone particularly doing like something so small, he'd be like, "Why are you getting so excited for?" I'd be like, "Because it's you know, it's there, you know." So no, it's cool. Now you touched upon it earlier. Could you talk about your like time with the youth
with the national?
Tell me about that.
So that was an interesting little experience. It's an interesting course, and I'm really happy I did it. I think I did it personally a little bit late because I'd done it after going to film school, after working in the industry for a little bit already, and I'd done it as a top-up thing. So it's kind of good for people who are really, really starting out as well. But I learned a lot from it as well in the terms of I'm happy I did it because I met a bunch of really good actors that I would never have met. And I've now met my DOP from that. And like a first AD I really love working with, producers I love working with, a writer I really like working with. And it's great having that kind of like experience of showing. It's kind of like what the course I did was, it was kind of like film school, but condensing like to 2 weeks of like just intense. Like you have to meet these people, get on with these people, make this film, get it done. you know, and it's great. It's great for that kind of experience. And yeah, I'll shout out those people like James Duncan. I have a little joke. I call him James Ducan because we done a we done a film together. It was like one of these like 24-hour kind of film challenges or whatever it was, and we put it into the submission, and we got into the actual like film festival section of it, and we rocked up, and they've got these little booklets and everything, and they've spelt his name wrong, and it's James Duncan, but without the first N. So like since then, it's James Ducan. He's gonna hate me for saying that, but he loves me really. But like yeah, and then like Josh Barnes and Bethan Moore and you know, some great actors, Sarah and Shiv and all these kind of stuff. But they're really like, it's just a great experience to meet these people, work with these people, and just meet more like-minded people like this. And you kind of, like you're saying, with the kind of improvisation, that kind of stuff, you bounce off each other. And like since then, there's been so much, because I was working a lot in the industry, like just doing promo jobs and jobs that I was kind of like, this is paying the bills, but it's not as much fulfilling. So I did that kind of kickstart, and it's kind of kickstarted a lot of like work that I want to do again, which is nice.
Sick, that's good.
And funny enough, I was having a similar conversation the other day with a friend of mine, Eva. She's a filmmaker from Holland, and she's very cool. She's got great stuff, but she's talking about like there's such a divide in what you want to do and what you have to do in this industry.
Yeah.
Like, and it's trying to find the perfect balance, and it's hard. It is hard. But yeah, with the NYFA, so we done that course, and it was really cool because there's some really cool, like the head of Lionsgate would come and talk. So there's some names coming to actually do some. Yeah, they've done some names and like big kind of talks, and like some directors and all this kind of stuff. In previous years, they had what's his name? Gareth Edwards, is it? Or Gareth Evans, the one who directed Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gareth
Gavin,
Edwards, Edwards.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. But yeah, he'd come in. There's some cool little names and stuff like that. And so you do this course and you make this film, and it's intense and it's fun and it's stressful as filmmaking is.
Mm-hmm.
And they screened it at, like, so it's one thing, like, so with film school, with Brighton Film School, it's one thing seeing your film up on the screen in like what's the like Dukes and whatnot and Comedia.
Yeah, the Duke of York.
It's stuff. Great. It's great seeing your film on that kind of thing, like when they do the showcase and all this kind of stuff. It's another thing when you see your film on an Odeon IMAX screen.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that mad. Must have been sick.
It's mad. The film. So the film we done for that. The lead.
So this is your film. Is it Pure? Is it the one?
No. So Pure was a different one. So the actual NYFA course we did.
Okay.
I made a film called No Vacancy.
Okay.
That was an interesting little experience because we made up the story on like the kind of the first day, and then my writer wrote. And this was also another experience because I would classify myself as a writer director.
Mm.
I write a lot of the stories that I want to tell, you know, and then I go on. I've never really had the opportunity to kind of get someone else to write for me and then tell that story. Not necessarily because I didn't want to, just never really had that opportunity. I think, yeah. But this is the first time working with a writer and interpreting their work, so that was really cool. The film was about basically like so it's called No Vacancy. One of the alternate titles was Scare B&B. It's great. But basically it was a story about this guy who had lost his girlfriend previously. But she was still haunting the place, and he was trying to rent it as an Airbnb. And it was great. It was a great little story, great little opportunities for different character pieces, and like little funny moments, little sad moments, little scary moments. Great performances all around. And yeah, it was a great experience. That. And
is that online for people to watch and stuff?
It's just wrapping up its festivals
Cool.
stuff, and
Sick.
weirdly it should be released in like a week, I guess.
Oh, nice.
So I'll
Cool.
send you the link afterwards.
Yeah.
Well,
Do that, man. Yeah.
that's not a problem. But like the first shot is our lead's kind of face, like literally as close as like it's an ECU of his eyes and nose. And like when we were first shooting it, I knew that was going to be like the kind of framing, but I'd forgot it was going to be like on a proper like massive like Odeon kind of screen.
Yeah.
So like rocked up and we saw, whoa,
Like,
okay, there's Shiv. Like,
what
wow. Yeah, like, and he was like, wow, okay. Like
that's intense. Yeah, you're like, shit.
It's intense. But no, it was great. It was a great experience. And then going on to the 1K challenge, so the NYFA to members who have done their like set ready course, they then offer like funding opportunities like the 1K challenge. They do summer shorts and all this kind of stuff where you create a pitch to their you create a pitch to their brief and submit it. And we done all right. We won the Christmas one.
Yeah, it's cool, man. You must have been chuffed about that, right?
Oh, it was great. It was like, because we came up with a few ideas, submitted them, and was like, okay, let's just leave it. Let's carry on, you know. And then I got a phone call, and I was like, oh, damn, yeah, let's go. Let's make my weird film about grief and red cows.
Where did that come from? Where did the red cows come from?
So the red cow.
I was watching it yesterday or the day before, and I was like, where did the red cows come?
Yeah. Well, this is kind of thing. So I would say my stories up until that point have been very kind of kitchen sink, very realistic, quite aiming for that kind of raw, kind of like, you know, humanist drama kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I still wanted to keep that because that's what the whole story is about. The guy wanting to, you know, there's a disconnect between his family because of obviously the death of their dad previously, and this is the first Christmas they come together, you know, and there's got all these kind of like really dramatic kind of relationships, tense moments, like emotional moments, but it was missing something. So I went to my the writer that was on the course, and she's great, and she's also fucking wacky, and I love it because she's like she really likes like Taika Waititi and all this kind of stuff, and we connected over Taika Waititi, and you know, it's great. Bit of Taika, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. But, I'm obsessed with him at the moment. He's like,
it's great. It's great. I watched Ragnarok last night again, and it's just like this is just brilliant. I love it. My name's Korg. But basically on the course,
piss off, Ghost.
Fucking great. I love it.
Yeah.
I made on the rocks, but don't don't be afraid of me.
It's like, this is the new Doug. Hello, Doug.
Oh.
Sorry.
I just love it. I know I watched it yesterday, but you just saying the lines are just like, this is just still so funny. Anyway, so we connected over Taika Waititi and stuff like that, and magic realism in film, so like Swiss Army Man, and stuff like that, where it is kind of, this is weird. This is like a magical kind of element of like
out there,
like strange, unbelievable stuff, but in this world it's just taken as matter of fact, you know, like in Swiss Army Man, it's just okay, Harry Potter's a dead body that can talk and fart and do shit, but like okay, whatever,
you know, he's
a talking rock monster, and like and his best mate is Hitler, you know, like that's you know, Taika Waititi in a nutshell. Like, and I know Taika didn't direct Swiss Army Man, but like it's the same kind of film.
Yeah.
And this is what, so the Ghost Flat, the Scare B&B No Vacancy, film. That's where we wanted to tell a story that was emotional. Like, so we had the emotional through lines of the main couple, so the guy who'd lost his girlfriend and the ghost of his girlfriend. We wanted their kind of emotional kind of relationship, the way their relationship broke down and all this kind of stuff. And then each of the couples coming to stay at the Airbnb would have their own emotional kind of arc, or as much as we could do, you know. But we also wanted it to be more than just like these couples arguing and having upsets and being in love and whatnot. We wanted a weird ghost to like haunt an Airbnb, because that's fucking great. Like, so this is what happened with Pure. I was like, I've got this really nice story, because it was also based on like a lot of my stories are based on true life like experiences,
Okay.
or like kind of
Yeah.
thing. And this one was inspired by, I'd lost my nan, who I was very close to, like that year, like the summer before, like so last summer.
Yeah.
And her birthday's around Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And like Christmas was a very kind of, it
Tough
very
time.
revolved around my nan, and it's kind of like, this was going to be our first Christmas, and it was going to be weird. And then a lot of the actors I'd contacted who had been on my course had like lost people that year, or like or had lost people like such as like parents or grandparents or family members, and really emphasized with that moment around Christmas and how it was. So that's why we wanted to make it. We wanted this film, but I was like, it's missing something. It's missing. So I spoke to Beth, and I was like, oh, what can we do? And I had this little idea. So with Judaism, the red cow or red heifer means basically is a symbol of death and grief and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And a bit of a through line with the story of Pure is because it's not about Christmas as per se. It's about family. So the reason why is the family in Pure is a Jewish family celebrating Christmas. There's little hints to it, like with the main character, he's got a little Star of David and stuff like this. And yeah, basically it's all based around that kind of thing. And so I spoke to Bethan, who was my writer on No Vacancy, and she just said, why don't you just be weird with it, you know, and talk to me about the cows and all this kind of stuff. So we just added a shitload of cows. But in the context of it, it's just like, it is matter of fact, like these cows are like physical embodiments of their grief, and the way they're kind of hiding it. Like he keeps pulling out this little red cow and sticking in his pocket. He wants to show his mum. He wants to show his mum. He wants to show his sister, but like, it's like, no, I can't, because it just added an extra layer to, so like people might not know what it means, but it that's the way we wanted to intend it, so like people can think and spectate, like with Swiss Army Man, like is Harry Potter really dead, or is he like, you know, is he a figment of his imagination of him just going mad, you know? And it's that kind of thing. And it's like each character had their own little red cow in that family to kind of represent the way they're kind of finny. And in that film as well, without getting too finny, each character represents a different stage of grief. So
okay, cool.
You got like the mum who's in denial, the older sister who's just like who's just angry at everyone and this kind of stuff. And that's the way she's got the most cows and all this kind of stuff. She's drawing cows and, like, you know. And I know it's a bit weird and like there's just cows everywhere, but like, trust me, it was a weird shoot. It was a brilliant shoot. Everyone in the cast, everyone cast and crew, we'd done a little toy red cow and gave it to them as a little souvenir.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And but yeah, like, so the sister's anger kind of thing. The brother's like bargaining, and like, because he's like, don't you think I wish I could like change all this? Do you think I would, you know? And the little sister is depression, because she's just sad the whole way through. She's quiet, she's reserved, and for a little kid who's meant to be running around and being happy at Christmas, for her just to be sitting, not saying anything, you know. But then they all go to like acceptance. It is a bit like of a emotional kind of through line with that, but like we wanted to add some cows, so why not?
I like it, man. I like it, man, because when I first watched it, when you guys first released it last year, I was like, did this guy used to be a farmer or something? Or at first I was like, what is this? And then I was like, that's really good. Sometimes it's nice to, even if the like audience doesn't pick up on it, it's nice to have that little like gem of like something like hidden something in there.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So like for us, it was obviously we had our complete like knowledge of what these represented. So like when we were going in and we were going, okay, this represents this for this character, you know, we aren't gonna like smack you over the face with it, but like when you watch it, because in that way, like if you watch it and go, what are these weird cows? But you watch it, and if you really connect with the story of it, you can like I guess apply your own meaning to like these cows. Like it could be a cow, it could be like a marble, it could be anything, it could be a letter, you know, it could be anything. But like, because I mean, everyone has lost someone, everyone will lose someone, and I know that's really thinny, but like basically it's that kind of feeling of like you always have these memories that you're holding on to, memories, and that's what's hurting. But you got to acknowledge those and kind of go, well, these were good times, you know, these were good times, and you know, and that's kind of who we made the film for. We made it for ourselves, for the one, you know, because obviously we like making films, but we also like a lot of the cast and crew had lost someone and had that emotional attachment to it, but we also made it for because the final message we put in there was it's for I can't remember what wording we used, but it's for the ones we lost and ones they left behind, because ultimately, especially Christmas, such a family or although like pessimistic view, it's a very like commercial, like buy this, buy that, you know, and Santa Claus is going to give you stuff or going to beat you up, but but like but like no, in all honesty, it's about family coming together. That maybe they're not seeing each other a year and they're like ring each other up and say, you know, so do that and it not be weird, you know.
And when there's like a key person missing, it's very odd.
Definitely.
Yeah,
But that was that film. And then I suppose I'll, as a quick side note, for the we also won another 1K challenge with them, which I produced.
Sick.
I didn't direct.
Oh, cool. Amazing.
So I do some producing. I do some like that kind of stories I really want to do. So my writer on No Vacancy, Bethan, she wrote this gorgeous script about her own experiences with and please don't like take this for word because I can't remember it exactly.
That's
but
fine.
It's PMDD, and it's a condition where it's essentially when people have their period and like but turn up to 11.
Okay, so it's like a heavy, like really heavy, ridiculous.
It's kind of like it really fucks with you and like really plays on your mental health. But it's a really unknown kind of condition, and a lot of people write off as like, oh well, it's just this, it's just that, and like so many people kind of ignore it. And Bethan had suffered through this and gone through the trials and tribulation of trying to get recognized for this, and like. But they were just saying, "Oh, well, maybe you're pregnant," and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, what, you know, like, but and in a weird and wonderful way, she wrote a story about this young girl growing up with her pet werewolf, and basically, and I played the French werewolf because when she gets older and it develops into this condition, she can't understand her period anymore. She can't understand why it's making her feeling the way she is. And it's just a werewolf in like a beret smoking cigars and talking French at her. And she's like, and character B is just like, what the fuck are you on about? Like, seriously, what is wrong? Like, you know, and like trying to do, it's a great little story. Bethan wrote and directed it. It's still obviously COVID and shit halted some of the, because it's still got some sound mastering to do.
Fair enough.
And we need to do some little bits of like ADR on certain scenes and stuff like that. But it's a good little project. And that was another one we did. But yeah.
Sick. No. Send me like the link to that when
Definitely.
It's all done and stuff. I like the way I wouldn't have that, like the connection from the actual underlying subject matter to what you were talking about earlier. I was like, that would that sounds like a really interesting, like creative way to discuss something that's like affected her and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. It was a fun little shoot as well. It was so many weird things we had to do. We had to film in a swimming pool where the werewolf could come out of the water, and like all this weird stuff, like very strange, very like wonderful. Weird and wonderful is the best way I can say it.
Cool, sick.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah. I just want to give like a shout with the mum in Pure, old Sharon Drain is like
Oh,
so good.
Sharon, yeah,
She's so
she's
good.
so good.
She's
She's
such
so
a.
good. She was,
I've only met her a
yeah,
couple of times, and she's just
yeah.
so nice. So nice.
Well, she was in the first film I worked on in Brighton. So I
Oh yeah.
produced a short by Victoria Aylin, and she wrote this story about the character, because Alexi. Do you know Alexi? Alexi Parker?
No.
No, he's a great actor as well down in Brighton, and he played this character who'd grown up with like agoraphobia, like kind of like fear of the outdoors and all this kind of stuff, and it manifests itself into this fear of a monster under the bed kind of thing. And he grew up, and Sharon played the mum at like three different ages, and spoilers, she gets killed. He bashes her over the head. But like she's great, and that was the first film I ever worked on like properly, and I produced that, and she was on it, and she was absolute delight.
Yeah,
we worked on Pure. We're working on another project at the moment called Sarah, which is about a carer, like a young carer, and that kind of stuff. So that's really cool.
Sick. No, she's really nice. In my second year, we worked with her on a short film about. She played like the receptionist in like God's waiting room. It was like something odd like that. It was called Afterlife. It was called Afterlife. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, she was really good in that as well. And then when
she smashes it. She's like in the same way that Keris. They both smash it. They're just really great. Great performance. Really great people to work with as well.
Yeah, I always like it when you start to meet like the really good people, and then you just like start to hopefully like cherry pick. You'll be like, contact them, and be like, do you want to be in this? Do you want to be in that? Do you want to be in this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. Definitely. No, talk to me. I feel like we've been talking for ages, but it's fine. Don't worry. I would talk to me about your short film that you released recently. Old Small.
Small Bump, yeah, the lockdown film. So yeah, like so I've got this YouTube channel where I just kind of make films for myself. Like they're weird films. Sometimes they're just like me shooting like a tree and making it weird. I don't know, like it's that kind of thing. But I've got a bunch of shorts on there. Film Frankie, if anyone wants to have a like, share and subscribe. A little plug. But like so on that, I thought with lockdowns happened, I want to do something that's actually the kind of like a real touching story that's quite easy to do with social distancing applied and all this kind of stuff. So I saw this West Sound Film Festival was doing like a challenge, like a 48-hour challenge kind of thing. I love doing 48-hour, 24-hour challenges, whatever it is. Just gives you a prompt to do something and make something. It might be good, it might be bad, but it's just a bit of fun. But we made this short for that. And we had to include, I think the brief was really a bit peculiar, but like it was, you had to include odd socks and the line, well, that's that. And it could be anything else, anything.
Okay, fair.
So I'd moved into a new place at that point, and I was like having a lot of feelings, especially during lockdown and all that kind of stuff. It was a bit strange. Yeah. So I just filmed this. Yeah, it was a day shoot. An overnight edit and a release, and I'd written it that morning as well, and obviously with my work schedule, kind of the way I work, it was largely improvised. Great performance from Hannah as well.
She was really good.
She's really good in that. She's really good. And basically, and that's kind of where it's at. It was I just wanted a nice little snippet, something quite real, raw, and and that was all crew me. So it was just me with the camera, set a microphone in the corner of the room, and then Hannah just doing her thing and doing our washing and stuff like that.
Have you heard anything from the festival yet, or is that
so we didn't win. Boo.
Okay.
It was based on I think it was like likes on YouTube, like
we got
the most likes in like a week or something.
I remember, I remember you saying like, please, loads of people like this, please. So
like it, please. I'm not. I try not to be that desperate when I'm sharing stuff. It's so weird promoting yourself. But with this one, I was like it, please, just like it. Like really going like really like demon style, you know. But like we didn't win, unfortunately. But like regardless, I think it's participating, taking part that counts. But we were making it, and it's something that really I'm quite proud that we just kind of done on a whim, and it was really nice.
No, that's cool. Nice. Going back to like when you said about your YouTube channel where you just like create stuff for the sake of creating, I think that's like a good bit of advice for anybody that's listening that wants to do more, is just do it rather than waiting for the whole like crewing up and getting a load of actors and stuff.
Well, I mean, especially nowadays, I mean, like okay, maybe not everyone has a camera. Maybe not everyone has decent sound equipment. But I mean, everyone has a phone.
Yeah.
Most phones have cameras now, you know? If you don't, so you can just do, even if it's like really like shit quality, you can still make something and make it with that in mind. And even if you don't have actors, like, I mean, like, you can film like trees and like stuff and create meaning from it, get your eye out there, make something beautiful. And like, not everything has to be like a big project and this means to make something. It's all part of the reason all of us are doing this and being filmmakers and that is because we love it. So do what you love.
Yeah,
is kind of like what I'd say. Like with the YouTube channel that I do, they're not meant to be anything. They're just meant to be like boom. Like some of the projects I've done on there, but at the time most of them made up on the day or made up in the edit or something like that. It's just like that kind of stuff.
It's important. It's like important to like keep exercising that filmmaking muscle and everything and stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah,
you give you freedom as well if you do projects that are a little bit more like low key kind of thing. You can flex a bit more in the terms of you can try new things. You can try. Oh, well, I wouldn't have done this on a project that maybe I had a lot more involved in. Because I would have been scared that it wouldn't work, but it's worked here, and so I'm gonna apply that to a bigger project now that I want to do. I want to adapt that style and all that kind of stuff. So it's a playground, it's a sandbox. I feel like nowadays, especially, I mean, I know people work, but there isn't much excuse really because people work, But like, if you really love doing this, you're gonna do it. I feel like. Also, and this is another thing. Go on.
Yeah, no. Also, I just think it's good because if you go to like, if you have gaps in like your creative work or any work in general, if you've spent the entire like say 6 months or whatever and you haven't done anything, and then you go to the next job and then you haven't got anything to show them what you've done in your own time, then that kind of, it looks like you're not really into it,
Exactly. It was like if you're training for a marathon, you don't just go, oh, well, I've done my marathon last year, so I'll wait till I do this marathon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna go for runs. You're gonna run every week. You're gonna that kind of thing. You got, like you say, you got to exercise. And this is I was gonna promote one last thing.
Cool.
So like on my channel, Film Frankie, I do this thing called the Alliance Project. We've only done one, but I've got ideas to do more. In which I create a brief for like filmmakers and creatives that I've worked with or I like or I know or want to, and I'll get you involved in the next one if you'd like.
Sick, yeah, man. Yeah, sick.
But like basically what it is, I'll create a prompt. So the last one we did was what makes life worth living. Simple as that.
Cool.
I get creators from different things and they'll like people are working with like high-end DSLRs, people are working just with their phones or a GoPro on a bike or something like this. And I edited all their footage together to make one project. Sick. And it gives people, like you're saying, it gives an excuse to flex your muscle and express yourself in a way that you might have not done like otherwise. And so that's called the Alliance Project, and we'll be doing a lot more of those. And I'll get you involved.
Yeah, man, that would be like amazing. Yeah, that'd be really good. I think that's the thing that I wanted to try and do with this like podcast and stuff. I was like, well, first I just want to be nosy and see what other people have been up to. And nick any like career ideas or any stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
which is always good. But also just to give people like platform to like promote themselves and talk about their work and
excuse
stuff.
to create. It's an excuse to create.
Yeah, and it excuse to like connect more and stuff. And,
yeah,
you know,
definitely. Like you say, even if one person listens to this, you know, and they go, oh yeah, well actually, yeah, I really like this podcast. I'm going to listen to all the rest, and they connect with someone else, or they connect with me, or whatever it might be, and we make a project. Ow, just hit my thumb. But or they could, you know, it could lead to something, or it could just inspire, like some of the stuff I've said, or some people, whatever else someone else has said, they might go, oh, I'll take that one little bit, and push you on to do something.
Also, it's just like the same with like potential job opportunities and stuff. It's like with this, this is episode 15 now, so I was like, and I've always loved radio, and I was like, you know, I could do this, and then if I did a bit of film work and stuff, and then I could show up to someone and go, yeah, I haven't been a professional DJ on a radio thing, but I've done this.
But I've got this.
Past, like, you know. So,
exactly. Well, podcasts especially is a way to go at the moment because, you know,
it's like easy to do and stuff. So it's, it's all cool.
It's nice.
I would, I wanted to go back because I forgot part of my questions that I had.
No problem.
When you first like graduated film school, what was like the first like
kind of stuff I was
6
doing?
months and starting like that?
Yeah,
I'm just intrigued about that.
I think you'll hear so many different stories of what happened.
That's like the most terrifying, like.
Yeah, it's scary.
Part, I think.
Scary. Luckily, I got a good job straight out of film school.
Sick.
And it was I've had a couple of decent like promo jobs, like corporate stuff. I was doing like Twitter work, like Twitter page, like videos for Pop Noodle and stuff like that.
Sick.
So that was a good little payer for a little while.
Cool.
And I was just working doing like I connected with a load of people in the theatre world, like up in London. So I was doing like trailers for shows and stuff like this. So I was working mainly as a freelancer in that state and kind of like working on different projects. Sometimes getting runner jobs on like features and stuff like that. But yeah, like it is just such a. There is no one way to do it. It's just kind of, you got to run with it, see what happens, shout yourself out. Don't be shameless with your self-promotion, I feel, because you've got to go and say, look, if you need me, just call me, you know, like call my name and I'll be there. But like,
I
seriously,
thought you were going to burst into song there, you know.
I was going to like do a little dance as well, yeah. But no, but seriously, that is the case. So you just got to kind of be shameless because you know, like if you don't involve yourself with the like-minded people, like what you're doing here with the podcast and stuff, connecting with people, getting a nice little branch of like, because the amount of jobs I just got from like actors who knew someone that wanted this, or a DOP that wanted like an act, you know, whatever it might be, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna get jobs through word of mouth more than anything, because at the end of the day, like there are so many of us out there doing so many little bits and little bobs and but you just got to push yourself and take the opportunities. Won't be there lying on a plate, you know. So you've got to make yourself in the best position so when they come you can jump, you know. And that I know that kind of goes without saying, but like you fake it until you make it kind of shit. That's what I've been doing like the last couple of things. I got a couple of jobs that's led onto this job, onto that job. Been working on like some decent named features kind of thing. It's like low level jobs still, but like it's a great experience to get onto that. And then from that, I've met someone who'd give me like a decent paying job on here. I've done like teaching jobs I've never thought I'd do. And it you know, and it's led from this, you know, and all different things.
Yeah, cool.
You
know? Like a snowball,
like a snowball kind of thing. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
cool.
I like that.
Because I've sort of been like I'm in an iron because obviously I took like a year break and stuff, and then at the moment, as life, you know, you have to pay rent and stuff. I'm doing a boring retail job, and then obviously like writing my own stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there. I mean, you can't like you know, like we all try. There is a struggle, and
there's nothing to be ashamed of that, like whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Completely,
not at all. Like I know people who like my I believe like some people I've worked with have been like, oh, I'd done film school, I'd done acting school, and then I kind of gave it a year or two just a break to kind of like get some money or maybe just see the world or whatever it might be, and whatever they wanted to do, and come back into it. As long as when you come back into it and like, or when you are doing it, you put your fucking all into it. You don't half-ass it.
Yeah.
And not half-assing it doesn't mean like you can't work a retail job at the same time or you can't finish. It's just like, know that you want to do it. And if you're writing something, write it because you want to write, not because like, oh yeah, you know, there's like, don't do it for face, if that makes sense. Like, don't do it
searching for like
because,
fame and fortune and stuff and all that crap.
Because if you wanted fame and fortune, like there's so many better ways to do it.
Yeah. Don't
like, become a lawyer. Like,
don't be an artist. Really don't.
Don't be an artist.
Yeah.
Do not. If you want money, don't be an artist. Become a lawyer. That's where the money is.
Yeah, I always joke with my family because my twin brother works at the Ministry of Defence, and I was like, so he's going to be the one that's earning like a shit ton of money, and then I'm going to be the one that's the artist going, can I have a little bit of money because I really want to make this like small thing, and
definitely.
But
definitely.
no.
But the one other thing I'd say to you is, this is something I've learned recently as well. Just keep like, it's okay to fail, because I went through some like tough times where it's like, I'm not doing anything. This was really shit as a project, you know, that kind of stuff. Or like, oh, I'm writing, but it's not being made and stuff like that, you know. Or I haven't done any project for like a year or whatever it might be. It's all right as long as you keep trying to get better. That's the only thing you can do. And I suppose, and that's like, to anyone listening as well.
And like learning from those experiences, like my degree year was rough, and I sort of like, I turned into a dick really, and I upset a lot of people, and that's why I sort of I needed the year break because I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to come back to it. It was like you know, I had a rough time and fell out with a lot of people, and whatever.
It happens. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here.
And I would, and then I think sometimes it's like, as a young person or anybody younger, it's like, prior to that, I was never like not liked. So when something like that happens, you're like, shit, like people normally like me, and like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a bit of a fucking head twist. No, I get that. I fell out with a couple of people in my final year, and mainly because I was a bit of a dick sometimes, because I was trying to get my vision across, and I didn't really look anything else. But you learn from that, and like some of the people I fell out with, like, all right, fair enough, but that's, you know, what happens. I've reached out to a couple of them. Someone reached back, and it's, you know, you got to think it's not personal as long as you kind of don't take it personal. You got to put yourself and you conduct yourself in the best way possible, and then, you know, that's what
and
you can
just because you were like a dick a couple of years ago doesn't mean you're a dick now. Just as long as you like learn from that.
If you grow as a person, it's like, without getting too political here and all this kind of stuff, all the stuff that's happening at the moment.
It's fine, man.
You know, it's well, like with BLM and all that kind of stuff. The amount of stuff I've been seeing online and that kind of stuff, and people. There's this brilliant analogy of like that I shared and this kind of stuff with, you know, that all lives matter and all that rubbish, you know, and like, well, if I have said all lives matter, or I've said something, you know, that does that make me a hypocrite? No, it doesn't. As long as you kind of learn and actively try to better yourself, like, then that's growth, and that's what we want, you know. Like you can grow and be more accepting, or be more like in your work you can get better, or you can like analyze friendships or relationships where maybe you did something a bit wrong, and kind of
like I remember on my graduate film, I did like, I was reading a lot about like Stanley Kubrick and stuff, and and I had a scene in my film that it was a mugging, and I sort of went a bit like Stanley Kubrick, and Keris was my main character in this, and she gets mugged, and the directing that I did, or my method that I was going, was that I sort of like kept her in the dark a little bit, and then that completely backfired, like quite badly. That it just, the scene ended up falling apart, and I like fell out with my like producer and AD over that, because I was trying to get a reaction, but it ended up being a wrong reaction. So so I was trying to get like real
You're
like
going for a particular
a real reaction, and then it just completely backfired. But then I like learned from that experience that I'd say to anybody, if you want to be a director and stuff like that, or a head of department, you've really got to take care of the people around you. When I was doing my degree film, it was very much like my ego sort of got to me a little bit, and I was and I was like super stressed and trying to like keep my head above water, sort of thing.
Exactly. I think it's weird, that pressure. What happens to you? It's handling pressure. People handle it differently, and it turns us into some different people sometimes. But like you say, no matter what you did, I mean, certain things, if you did it, maybe not like, but like I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, like. You know, like there are some dicks who are just like dicks. That's all they are.
Like if you've been like a dick to those like 4 or 5 times you've directed a film, then you're probably a dick permanently.
Exactly. Exactly. But like if you can take an experience where maybe you did something or said something maybe that was a bit of a dick move, as long as you try to actively better yourself after that, there's a degree of like redeemability, you know.
I don't know why I managed to dive into that. I don't know why I went into that. Sorry.
So this is a safe space. Told you, it's therapy.
No.
Just more expensive.
Cool. I would. I like fire through some. What do you think? What do you think at the moment is like your strength and the thing that you need to like, carry on working on? It doesn't have to be
with
solid.
this kind of thing, it's I feel like my strength is I'm just amazing at everything. No, I'm joking. No. No, it's my humility.
Thank God this is a podcast and we can't see your head getting larger and larger.
Just filling the screen. My God. No, I feel like without being up my own arse too much, I feel like I've really tried to work on like just storytelling and like finding the journey through things and actively trying to like. Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? It's so hard to self-evaluate. I did have a think about it, but like it is generally like that kind of stuff. I've tried to better myself in terms of the way stuff looks, character kind of journeys, like more fulfilled dialogues, stuff like that. I mean, writing. I've been always trying to better myself with like reading and stuff like that. So my biggest strength, I don't know if I actually have one. I think my biggest strength is the fact that I'm willing to just grow. Like I used to be very much set like, oh, this is the way it's going to be. And this is the way that like, I don't need to I'm so good at this and I don't need to get better at that. I just need, but I think my biggest strength is the fact that like, I've recognized my faults and I can move on with that. And like, and I just want to like tell stories that matter. And that's the kind of thing. And really learn. It's my ability to learn, I guess.
Cool. No. I say that's probably something that like any creative person needs to have that. I know that's a bit of like a nothing answer. Like my strength is that cool. I'm, but like yes, that I have drive to learn.
I have. Oh, I'm such a wanker. dear.
But
No,
yeah. I think like I've had friends in the past that they think everything that they produce is like the most amazing thing, and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
So no.
I mean, you have got to love your work to some degree. Like I have to say, like I love the projects I've worked on, and I'm really proud of a lot of the stuff that
That's
I've
good,
made.
man.
But like, if you don't look at your work and go, oh, well, that was great, but what can I do better next time? Then that's not doing it right, personally. I feel like every project, everything you make, you need to grow or at least pursue growth,
Yeah. If you can't look at something and realize where you can like tighten things up and get better at it, then it's not really gonna. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. I'm gonna jump to my last question because I feel like we've been talking for a while. So
that's no problem.
Cool. Sick,
to be
man,
honest with you, you skipped two questions that I was kind of like, what do I say?
Okay,
so
fair. Oh,
thank
cool.
God.
No worries.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
It's all right. It's all right. No, the other week I was like really mean, and I chatted to a Paralympic friend of mine, and for some reason I forgot to send her the questions. So she was like, so we did the podcast completely. She didn't know what I was going to ask.
Completely blind. All right. Yeah.
So
I like that.
But yeah. No, what do you think? Like leaning on like talking about your creative work and everything, and talking about all this. Where do you think like at this time, what is like your end goal, or what is
me end goal?
Like, your creative end goal? I won't do that bullshit thing where where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Slightly taller, I wish. I've been hoping that for the most of my life, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Alive would be nice. Alive would be good.
That would be nice. But no, my end goal or where I'm going or however you want to phrase it, I guess. I just want to be still doing what I'm doing. I know that's kind of a bit of nothing, but like a lot of, I've got a binder that like yay thick, but like of projects that I want to get.
Sick.
And
that's
like
good. That's
I suppose
impressive.
if we are going with like the kind of stereotypical 5 years kind of end goal kind of thing, whatever it is kind of thing, I'd love within the next couple of years to start really working on something substantial. Like I love making shorts. I love making little videos and web series and stuff like this. But I guess my ambition stretches far beyond that. And I'd love to make a feature. I'd love to make like a proper series or something like that. I know that my granddad used to say to me, if you don't, if you aim for the stars, you might hit the moon. But if you aim for the moon, you'll never get off the ground.
That is a really good saying. My mum says like that saying, but slightly different. She goes, if you aim for the stars, you might get to the top of the trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's that kind of, but it's that mentality. Like I know, sometimes I go to myself, I want to make a feature, but like it's doable. Like two people in my class, well, actually a couple of them, like Jack Sandbrook and Will Unsworth, they just made a feature and it's on Prime at the moment. Bad Guys.
Cool.
So yeah, check that out if anyone is checking it out. But it's a good little film. But it's on Prime, and that's testament that you can make stuff on like a low budget on our own and do that. So I'd love to be making, I guess, more substantial, still like with the same kind of messages that I want to talk about. So I'm very aware, like especially at a time of the way we are and everything, the world is and everything. I'm very aware of my privilege of being like who I am and this kind of stuff. It's very different to anyone of like who is a minority or who is like LGBT or whatever it might be. Whatever makes someone different from the norm with air quotation marks. Like there is such a kind of like prejudice against people who aren't Finny. So like I'm very aware of where I am, and that's kind of why a lot of my projects I want to do is giving voice to people who might not, have that opportunity otherwise, and use that kind of thing. So like I've been writing a animation about like especially all the J.K. Rowling shit recently. Fucking, she's had enough money, ain't she?
That's a completely different podcast episode, man, right there.
Oh dear, yeah, I won't go I won't go too deep into it. But basically, I got inspired to basically write a series because I know so many people, like a lot of my friends, like really hurt by all these comments and like this kind of stuff, like trans people and people who are like non-binary, asexual, all different kind of people. And like, so I've written a series, or I'm in the process of writing a series about this, like a trans person discovering themselves in a world, basically.
Cool.
And I'm very aware that I'm not trans myself. I'm not, but like my intention is to create bigger projects, substantial projects that mean something to people, that like might speak to someone and might help someone through something, and this kind of stuff. And like with all these projects, I research and I talk to all the people and like get as many people involved as possible. And it just long ramble short, I want to make stuff still.
Yeah, cool.
And I want to make stuff that means something. Yeah, basically.
Oh, that sounds really good. Like seriously, after this conversation, we need to like keep this dialogue going, because that would be sick. I was talking about, because being like part of that LGBT plus community, I was like, me and my boyfriend were talking about the whole like comments and stuff, and I just watched a documentary on Netflix. There's a documentary which I recommend for people to watch. It's about how Hollywood and TV has shown trans people like in the media and stuff.
Well, my dissertation was on gender identity.
Oh, seriously? Oh, cool. Yeah, cool. No, my one was how disabled people were like portrayed in films and stuff. So no, definitely, like, that'd be sick. That sounds like a really good idea.
I suppose you could do another, but we could talk for another hour or about this.
And we will, and I'll let you get out. I'll let you get out in the sun or whatever you're gonna do.
Get back. I mate. I was in the sun yesterday, and I was because I was traveling. I had to travel to work, and basically I had my gloves and my mask on, and when I got there, I took my gloves off, and it just ripped. Oh, it was disgusting.
That sounds so gross. Oh, nice. No. We're just like end on that now with that.
We'll end on that. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
But
cool,
no,
man.
thank you for having me on.
It's been like really good talking and everything and stuff.
It'd be good. But no, let's catch up soon.
Cool. Yeah, and I can drive now, so whenever like you want to meet up, meet up in London or whatever and have a drink or whatever.
That'll be good.
Or if you're coming down near Brighton area, or give me a shout. Or whatever.
Exactly, we'll do. But cool. No, and I guess one last shout. If anyone wants to contact me, if they've listened or whatever, I'm at Film Frankie and stuff like that.
Good man. Proper
got to plug that. But no, But no, honestly, it's a good idea you're doing with this podcast.
Cheers, really, man. I much appreciate it.
Good luck for the rest of it, mate.
Yeah, cheers. You take care, and we'll chat soon, and stay safe and all that.
Okay, nice one.
See you later, man. Have a good one. Bye. So that was my conversation with Frankie. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Frankie, for coming on the show. It was super awesome. We had some good laughs. We had a bit of a therapy session. Shared our passion for filmmaking. And I'm super looking forward to seeing what you've got coming out next and what you're working on, including that interesting TV show idea. So super looking forward to that. And I hope we get to catch up again soon, maybe in person over a cheeky beer. Talk some more, really. I feel like we could have talked for hours and hours, which is always cool. So it was really good, and I hope you take care, man. And talk again soon. So today I was going to end by playing the new King's Men
trailer, the new Kingsman prequel that is coming out in September. I was going to play the trailer for that, but instead, since, Frankie told me his deep passion for the 2007 comedy that is Run, Fat Boy Run, I'm going to play out the show with the trailer for that. So this one's for you, Frankie. And until next time, you guys take care.
Relationships are like marathons. They require dedication, discipline,
That's disgusting. Jay, that's disgusting.
and determination,
You have been trying to get through to Libby for 5 years now.
What is her problem?
of which Dennis has none.
You left her at the altar when she was pregnant.
Brat. That was ages ago.
Women remember that stuff.
But when it comes to love,
Sick of the regret I feel every day because I didn't have the guts to marry the woman I love.
Dennis, this is Whit.
Seriously, what do you see in him?
He's a good man. He runs marathons for charity, for Pete's sake.
it's not how you start,
Libby, I can change. I will run the marathon.
What?
it's about how you finish.
The one that Whit's doing, I'll run that and I'll finish it.
Come on, you've never finished anything in your entire life.
I'm running.
You ready?
Ready. Why are you here?
I'm the assistant coach.
Why'd you get to be assistant coach?
Because I have this spatula. Ow!
You believe that? Powder? I'm fine. Sure. Refreshing. You had her once. Why did you ever let her go? I just stop you there. Yeah, I've got nothing to say. I just wanted to stop you there.
Picture House presents
Do you honestly think that running 26 miles is just going to wipe the slate clean?
As you get older, you're going to realize there are a lot of things that you don't like. And when those things happen, you can't just run away.
Is that what you do, Dad?
What did you think? She's not going to find anybody better than you? Well, let me be the first to tell you. You're not a tough act to follow.
Ow, my ear!
Run, fat boy, run!
Simon Pegg, Tandy Newton, and Hank Azaria.
How much fun? It's a little tiny 9 miles.
Run, Fat Boy, Run.
You can see my point, can't you? Yes, I can.